Welcome back to another Omni Garage video, and today we've got another Ryobi tool in our hands which we picked up a couple of weeks ago.
And that's from our recent Bunnings trip, right?
It sure is. So if you caught that video, we basically went and spent a month's worth of YouTube earnings on a couple of tools so we could produce again more content and get some more experience with some more of the lineup. And this is the second Ryobi vacuum that we've picked up. You've got the handheld, I guess the really entry-level piece, don't you?
It's like a $69 tool, whereas this is a $200 tool.
Yeah, so this is 199 New Zealand dollars, and the reason we went and bought this to give it a go is we're on the hunt for a better vacuum solution for the
what do they call this thing?
This is called there's no official name to it, it's literally called the 18-volt vacuum cleaner, portable vacuum, but I call it a project vac, really. A lot of the use cases in Ryobi's official marketing.
It doesn't look like a classic vacuum cleaner. No. There's no wheels, there's no canister, well there's no wheels attached to the canister, that type of thing. It's just got a little carry handle on top. And basically this big box is the canister.
Yeah, battery goes on your top.
It almost looks like a chili bin.
Yeah, you could probably
put a toolbox.
A few cold ones in there. It's plastic, so
yeah, maybe a toolbox.
A little bit of toolbox. Yep. So project vac, I think, is probably the way that we could call this. But the reason we went and bought this, we both use Dyson vacuum cleaners. Canisters on those are really big, so fine to pull floor mats out of the car and clean them inside, but as soon as you try and get that vacuum inside the car and start cleaning crevices, it's not a fantastic experience, is it?
It's a nightmare. And it's just because the body of that is so large, right?
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a look at the actual canister size, if we take the attachment off here, canister size on the Dyson, this is the V15, it's too big to get it around any areas in the car.
I think, let's clarify, right? The canister size of this is smaller than the canister size of this.
Correct.
But the problem with that is that you have to use the canister plus the little attachment to get in and around. This has a large canister, which is nice, you can put it on a seat. But then this hose takes away from the fact that this has got a large canister.
Correct. So you've got the 1.8 meter hose on here, whereas when you're using this tool, you're using it like this. This has to be within, 6 inches.
And that whole thing is a nuisance.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a lot more versatile, gives you a bit more flexibility, and I think the user experience of this for in the car is definitely nicer. Yeah,
where this is going to let you down compared to something like this, and this isn't a fair comparison, Dyson versus Ryobi vacuum, definitely not fair, but way more powerful.
That's a better vacuum cleaner.
It is. This is great for home use, but it just hasn't been fantastic for the car. So what we'll do, we'll bring you up closer to this machine, show you a couple of the features on it, and show you exactly how it works. Alright, so if you come up closer to the machine here, essentially what we have is a really boxy machine. You've got two clips here which come off, which with the handle give you your access to your 11 litre dust bin here. You've got a washable HEPA filter on the top, so that comes off, that is washable. And essentially the way that works, it just clips on.
That's quite nice that that's washable, because a lot of the times you get those paper...
You do get paper filters.
And then it's like a, might be alright for 6 months or a couple of months, and then you got to bin it and you got to go buy another one. So that's good that you can wash it out with. It's just water, is it?
It's just water that you wash that out with. And I mean, this is a couple of weeks old. I've already washed that filter a couple of times because I have been using this on the lint filter on the dryer, and that gets a lot of dust in that filter. So it's been handy having that washable. What you've got around the back of the machine here is obviously your battery spot on the top. That's a 5 amp hour battery. It sits really nicely on there. You've got your on off switch at the top there. Around the side you've got your blower port, so we'll cover that off in a minute. The other side of the machine, you've got some storage, so it does come with two accessories. It comes with this piece here, which is basically like a it's a flat tool. You could use that for carpets, and it also comes with a crevice tool as well, which stores quite nicely around the back of the machine. So onboard storage is quite nice. Hey, you've got all of those attached there. And then the main feature on here, which is what transformed the use case of this for us, was the flexi hose. So this is 1.8 meters long at its longest point. I don't think it's long enough. We'll show you how this works in the car, but this is quite handy because you can have this sitting on the ground and you can take this into the car or use this in a situation where you have that crevice tool attached to it and you don't have the bulk of a vacuum cleaner attached to it. Much like any other vacuum cleaner really, apart from your more modern ones like the Dyson.
And the thing I really like about this is that everything fits on the machine, which is really nice for storage and stuff. So if you had a classic vacuum cleaner where you had a big canister wheels, you had a big long pole, you had a whole cord and all that type of stuff, where do you put all that?
Yeah, the only thing that doesn't have any storage for is this. So this is the blower attachment that comes with the tool. So essentially the way that this works is if you take off your piece here and you come around to this side, you've got your blower port. So if your vacuum is on, you can feel air blowing out this vent here. So essentially what you do with this is you slide this in. What you can do then is you unhook your hose.
Which is from the classic vacuum side.
Correct. And then what you can do is you can pop that this way here onto the blower port of the machine. You can attach this piece on, and all of a sudden you've turned your vacuum cleaner into a blower. So it's not overly powerful, but you're
not going to dry a car off with that.
No, you're not going to dry a car with this, but what you will use this for is blowing up things like airbeds, maybe pool toys. Really handy to be able to switch it in the matter of 20, 30 seconds over to a blowing function.
You could also like blow like dust and wood chips and stuff off a workbench or something like that.
Yeah, correct. So it could replace, well, it's not going to replace your leaf blower. What it may replace is a little, like a workshop blower. One of the small ones, I know Ryobi make really tiny ones. Your output's going to be far less. Ryobi haven't actually rated the output for the blowing function on this. But it's going to be sufficient for small jobs like your pool toys. An airbed might take some time, or just blowing off surfaces as well. And the fact that that hose comes off and it's really quick to go and actually change this machine around, I think is it's definitely a win for this tool. You kind of get two in one. Basically, the way that we've been using this in the car is attaching the crevice tool. Obviously, floor mats, we pull them out generally of the car and we use them outside, but flick it on. Probably a good opportunity to pause and tell you that the air volume of this is rated at 24 litres a second. So whatever that means to you, I think it's 1,130 litres a minute. Look, I don't get too caught up into the specifications when it comes to the airflow of a vacuum cleaner. I think you really need to start using it, particularly on carpets, in order to actually feel what the suction's like on this. It's not overly fantastic. It'll do the job, but you're going to need to go over areas multiple times to use this machine on the carpets. We'll pull this carpet out in a second and actually show you the other tool and what that looks like. But one of the frustrations that I've had with this as the hose pops out, which that's not a frustration, is that this hose doesn't seem long enough. So as I was vacuuming, even just the entry area into the passenger seat here, what actually happened with this machine is, even though this swivels, this started tipping this way. I don't think the 1.8 meter hose on here is long enough, and I think it's purely because at full stretch it's putting too much pressure on the machine. You just don't have enough workable area, but I guess that's the trade-off for having onboard storage like that. If you go much longer, it's not going to store.
But also I found that you can put that big box on the seat and then vacuum.
You can. So exactly what Glenn said there, we can pop it right there, we can turn it on, and we can keep working. So as you can see there, we've had to go over some of those areas a few times versus if we were using the Dyson machine, generally 1 or 2 passes capture everything, and that's just that air volume difference. What I'll do, I'll pull this mat out and I'll show you the other tool on here, which is more suited for vacuuming mats, and we'll see how that performs. So we've pulled the floor mat out of the car, and what I'm going to do is show you how this works with the tool here, and then I'm going to equally show you the comparison of what it would be like if we use the Dyson on there, just to give you an example. So we'll pretty much just draw an imaginary line. Well, it's not an imaginary line if I try and make a line. Draw a line down the middle, vacuum this side with Ryobi, this side with Dyson, and you can make your own mind up. So I mean, we've gone over that quite a few times, and as you can see, this really struggles with hair. We've got quite a bit of hair still stuck in the mat there. So this is the Dyson V15 vacuum. It's got a very full canister, so we're probably not getting great performance out of it. And what we've got here is it's a mini motorized tool. So it's basically the same as the big one you use for floors, smaller version, perfect for things like floor mats here. And what I'll do is I'll show you, even with the full canister double above, the performance versus that Ryobi. I mean, that's one pass over this mat, and I think that we've probably got equal performance in terms of cleanliness versus the Ryobi. If we go over that side that the Ryobi did again, it's picked up most of what was left there. I think definitely for the use case of floor mats outside of the car, if I had these two machines sitting here, I would go for this one every time. So this is the type of area where this Ryobi machine excels versus anything else that we've used previously. Down the sides of your seat here, this is really easy, really pliable to get under here. So flip it on. And with the machine sitting on the seat of the car, you've got a lot of room to move around with this hose, although I really wish it was half a metre longer. I think would make all the difference for your pliability of this. Now obviously when buying this machine, the main use case for it was going to be on the car, but what I found is it's had a few more uses in things like this. So this is the lint filter from the dryer, and I try and keep this clean regularly. This was actually cleaned earlier this morning, and I've done a few loads of washing today. The Dyson with this will pick all that up very easily. However, with the small canister size, essentially I'm doing that there and I'm needing to empty it. Whereas with the 11 litre storage capacity on this machine, it's as easy as this. And what I can show you is if we actually open up the machine, we've only taken up that much space in there. So we could do that 100 plus times and we probably will still not have filled up this whole machine, versus that volume there in a smaller canister based machine like a Dyson, it's going to fill it up pretty quick.
What I also like about that is you just unclip it and then just tip all that in the bin and you're good to go.
Bin, yeah.
No bag, no nothing. That's super easy to empty out, which I really do like.
So there you have it. That is a really quick look at Ryobi's 18 volt. We're going to call it the Project Vac. Obviously this machine here is, we found it quite handy to have in our arsenal for detailing. It's not the perfect machine though. We're going to continue on our hunt for a better vacuum cleaner. I think what we'd be looking for is maybe something slightly smaller, or if it is similar size, we want a longer hose in order to really make this easy while doing the car. But for $199, it's really versatile. I think this is going to be quite handy in quite a few different use cases, more so than doing the car. But I think this, at the moment at least, has relegated the Dyson to just floor mat duty. This will be doing everything inside the car, especially the crevices. So that wraps up another Omni Garage video on a Ryobi tool. We have dozens and dozens of videos showcasing, not necessarily reviews, but in-use cases of Ryobi tools on the channel. Make sure to check those out and make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for the latest from Omni Garage. Thanks for watching.